Okay, let's unpack what's been a pretty wild week in AI.
Definitely a lot happening.
Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's looking at a potential $5.5 billion loss because of these chip export bans.
Oof, yeah.
Then you've got robots actually running a half marathon, which is just something else.
I saw that.
And the Elon Musk versus OpenAI fight, it's really heating up.
Oh, absolutely. The gloves are off there.
Welcome to the AI Funnel by Konstantina Giannopoulou. So welcome, everyone. This is your deep dive into the really important updates in AI tech innovation this week.
We're trying to cut through the noise.
Exactly. No fluff, just the key insights you need to know. So where do we start? Maybe the big AI model shifts.
Sounds good. And OpenAI is making some pretty big moves right off the bat. They're actually phasing out GPT-4 and GPT-4.5.
Really? Both of them?
Yeah, it seems like they're focusing everything on GPT-4.1 now, making it the main model.
Okay, so what's the upgrade with 4.1?
Well, they're saying it's faster, it's cheaper to run, and interestingly, better at following complex instructions.
Faster, cheaper, follows instructions better.
Sounds good. But the really big headline grabber is the token limit.
The context window.
Exactly. They've pushed it up to 1 million tokens.
1 million. Wow. That's huge, right? What does that actually mean in practice?
It means the AI can process and kind of remember vastly more information at once. Think like entire books, massive code bases, really long documents.
So for deep analysis or working with really large data sets, that's a game changer.
Potentially, yes. Better memory, deeper analysis is the promise.
And they didn't stop there, did they? There were other models mentioned.
Right. They also introduced two new ones, O3 and O4 Mini.
Okay, O3 and O4 Mini. Any idea what the thinking is there?
It looks like a tiered strategy. O3 seems geared towards, more lightweight, efficient tasks. While O4 Mini sounds like it might be aimed more at enterprise use, maybe needing robust but perhaps slightly less intensive capabilities than the full 4.1.
So broadening their range, basically, covering more bases.
Exactly. From simple stuff to complex enterprise solutions, they seem to want an offering for everything.
Okay, makes sense. But Google isn't exactly sitting still, are they?
Not at all. They've just rolled out Gemini 2.5 Flash.
Flash. Okay, so speed is key here.
Speed and cost effectiveness, yeah. That seems to be the focus. Fast reasoning without a huge price tag.
And they have this thinking budget feature. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's quite clever, actually. It essentially lets developers set a limit on the computational resources the AI uses for a task.
Okay, so you can trade off.
Exactly. You can balance speed, cost, and maybe the depth or quality of the reasoning. Want it super fast and cheap, give it a smaller budget.
Right.
Need more in-depth thought, allocate a bigger budget, but might take a bit longer or cost a fraction more.
Puts control in the developer's hands then.
Precisely, which is always appealing.
And Google's also pushing on the visual front, right? With VO2?
Yes, VO2. They've integrated that into the Gemini app now.
And this is the one generating video from text.
Yeah, and we're talking 4K video. But what's really impressive is the claim about its understanding of motion and physics.
So it's not just generating images, it's understanding how things should move.
That's the idea. Generating video that feels more, physically plausible, less like just stitched together pictures.
The potential for quick video production there seems huge. Marketing, education.
Absolutely. Could really speed things up and lower costs.
Okay, and then there's xAI, Elon Musk's company.
Right. They've just launched the API for Grok-3.
Grok-3. What's the angle there? They're talking about big brain reasoning.
Yeah, big brain reasoning and also deep search capabilities.
Deep search.
Yeah.
So better long context understanding.
That seems to be the implication. Really digging into long texts, understanding nuances. Sounds like you're positioning it directly against the top models like GPT-4.1.
So another major player entering that high-end reasoning space. The competition is intense.
It really is. Everyone's pushing for that deeper understanding.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. AI safety and ethics, always a big topic. OpenAI has updated its risk preparedness framework.
Yes, they have. And it's interesting what they're explicitly focusing on now.
Like what?
Things like evaluating risks of self-replication,
Whoa, okay.
resistance to being shut down, and also an AI potentially concealing its true capabilities.
That's quite the list. Sounds like they're taking those future risks seriously.
It definitely suggests a growing awareness or maybe acknowledgement within the field that as these systems get more powerful, we need to proactively think about these well, more extreme scenarios.
But it seems like there's a bit of a disconnect between the researchers and the public on this. I saw a UK survey.
Ah, yes. That was striking. It showed, what was it, 54% of AI researchers see AI as mostly beneficial?
Right, compared to only 13% of the public feeling the same way.
That's a huge gap, a significant trust gap, really.
Yeah. What does that mean for the industry?
Well, it means they've got a lot of work to do, right? Building public trust through transparency, clear communication, demonstrating safety. If people don't trust it, adoption gets harder.
Makes sense. Okay, what about globally? What are we seeing internationally? Meta's back to using European user data.
Yes, but with a key caveat. They're saying it's now compliant with GDPR, the European privacy rules.
So public posts, captions, images, that stuff is being used again for training in Europe.
Apparently so. For fine-tuning their models. It obviously brings that ongoing tension back to the forefront data for AI progress versus user privacy.
Always a balancing act. And meanwhile, China is really pushing ahead with physical AI, right?
Right.
Robots in malls.
Yeah. Humanoid robots, smart surveillance buggies. They're actively deploying them in public spaces like malls, even healthcare settings.
What's the strategy there? Is it just testing?
It's part of their broader embodied AI initiative. It's about integrating AI physically into daily life, not just having it on screens.
So real-world data collection, testing hardware and software.
Exactly. It's
Wow.
a very visible push to embed AI and robotics into the fabric of society. Shows their ambition.
Okay, let's talk economics for a second. These tightened U.S. chip export restrictions to China, they're having a real impact now. Nvidia is facing a huge hit.
Yeah, that $5.5 billion projected loss for Nvidia is staggering. It really highlights how dependent these companies are on the global market, including China.
And it's not just Nvidia, right? AMD is also expecting a downturn.
Around $800 million for AMD, yeah. And generally, you saw stock prices wobble for chip makers. It shows how sensitive the market is to these geopolitical moves.
And this isn't happening in a vacuum either. U.S. tariffs are apparently the highest since, 1930?
That's the context, yeah. And you even have the Federal Reserve warning about potential stagflation.
Stagflation. So, rising prices and slowing growth. That
Yeah.
sounds bad.
It's certainly a challenging mix. High tariffs, risk of stagflation. It creates headwinds for the entire global tech supply chain, affects costs, manufacturing, maybe even consumer demand down the line.
So these trade tensions could really slow things down.
They definitely add a layer of uncertainty and cost, which isn't ideal for rapid innovation and deployment.
Right. Okay, now for the big legal drama. Elon Musk versus OpenAI. What's the core claim Musk is making?
He's essentially arguing that OpenAI violated its original nonprofit mission, that it abandoned the goal of benefiting humanity in favor of profit, especially through its partnership with Microsoft.
And some ex-employees are backing him up.
Yes, a legal brief signed by 12 former OpenAI employees lends support to his claims, suggesting maybe there were some internal disagreements or concerns about the company's direction.
OpenAI is fighting back hard.
Oh, absolutely. They've countersued Musk.
And what are they accusing him of?
Unfair competition, interference.
But the really explosive part is their allegation that Musk made a, get this, $97.4 billion bid to take control of OpenAI back when it was still transitioning.
$97 billion. Wow. And OpenAI is calling that bid deceptive?
That's their claim, yeah. It certainly adds a very dramatic layer to the whole thing, questioning Musk's motives, perhaps.
So this is messy, and it's heading to a jury trial.
Scheduled for March 2026, apparently, so still a ways off.
But the outcome, that could be huge for the future of AI development, couldn't it? Ownership, ethics, absolutely. Given who's involved and the fundamental questions at stake about AI governance and responsibility, the verdict could set major precedents.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, switching focus again. Alibaba seems to be making a really strong push in AI.
They are. They've launched Qwen-3, which they're positioning as a direct competitor to models like GPT and Gemini.
Qwen-3. And they're putting serious money behind this.
Very serious. A $53 billion investment over 3 years in AI and cloud infrastructure.
$53 billion? Okay, that's a massive commitment.
It really signals China's determination through companies like Alibaba to be right at the forefront of this AI race.
And are they just focused on China or looking outwards?
They're expanding services for international users too, across different sectors. So definitely aiming for a global footprint.
More evidence that this is a global competition.
No doubt about it. Innovation is happening everywhere.
Okay, finally, let's touch on robotics and this idea of agentic AI. Anthropic's Claude has some new features.
Yeah, they're adding more agent-like capabilities. There's a new research tool, for instance.
What does that do?
It can access both public data, like the web, but also a user's private data sources.
And it integrates with other tools?
Deeply, apparently. Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Calendar. The idea is to make Claude more of an autonomous assistant that can proactively work across your different apps and data.
Like a true digital helper that can do things.
Exactly. Moving beyond just answering questions to actually performing tasks.
And this kind of agentic AI is already being used, right? Like in cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's a key area. AI agents are helping Security Operations Center, or SOC teams, by automatically triaging alerts, investigating potential threats, basically doing that initial heavy lifting.
Which frees up the human analysts.
Exactly. Reduces burnout for the SOC teams, speeds up response times. It's proving quite effective.
Interesting application. And then the robot half marathon, back to that.
Yeah, in Beijing. Pretty amazing sight, I imagine. 21 humanoid robots running alongside 12,000 humans.
And one of them finished in 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
For a humanoid robot to maintain that pace over 13.1 miles, it shows huge progress in locomotion, balance, energy efficiency.
Just incredible. And is the robotics industry itself seeing more action? ABB, the big manufacturer.
Right, ABB, they're the second largest robotics maker globally. They're actually planning to spin off their robotics division.
Oh, really?
Yeah, planning an IPO for it, targeted for the second quarter of 2026.
Interesting. So they see big growth potential specifically in robotics.
It definitely signals strong confidence in the future of the robotics market. And as AI gets better, the link between AI and robotics will only get stronger, leading to more capable and versatile robots.
Makes sense. A lot happening there, too.
For sure.
Okay, so that's a wrap on this week's Deep Dive. We covered a lot. AI model advancements, those crucial safety and ethics discussions.
The global initiatives, the economic ripples from tariffs, that whole Musk versus OpenAI saga.
Alibaba's big AI investments, and these really cool developments in robotics and agentic AI.
Hopefully that gives everyone a clear, concise picture of the key developments.
Yeah, the stuff that really matters. If you found this useful, please do subscribe, maybe rate the show, or share it with anyone else you think would be interested.
We appreciate the support.
And next time, we're planning to dive deeper specifically into agentic AI for business.
Yeah, looking at how it could impact productivity, automation, even decision-making in the workplace.
Should be fascinating. So, until then, stay curious and keep exploring the world of AI. See you next time.